So because we're going to be without baseball for the next couple weeks, I feel like it's up to me to keep baseball in the conversation of everyday life. And because I saw a video a couple days ago from Zach Campbell, he is a baseball legend. He created something called My Favorite Player from Every MLB Club. We're going to go ahead and do that right now, but just in case you missed his, I'll go ahead and link it in the description down below. But look at this. I have a watch on. I don't even know the time anymore because it's been so long. My it literally ran out of battery, so I don't know what day it is. I seriously don't know what day of the week it is. That's all besides the point. We're gonna go ahead and talk about some baseball today, and if you want to see more videos like this, more baseball content, leave a like on this video. If we can get 2,000 likes, I will come out with yet another baseball video tomorrow. It'll be a lot of fun. But without further ado, my favorite MLB player from every single baseball team, let's do it. We're gonna go ahead and start with the National League because usually I like to go kind of team by team and go American League East all the way down to the National League East, but we're gonna flip the script and talk about the Atlanta Braves first. And my favorite player from the Braves has to be Ronald Acuna Jr. We're gonna go through every player pretty quick, but I'm gonna talk about my favorite part about their game in a brief synopsis. So Acuna, he's a true five-tool athlete. His defense wasn't that great to start his career, but it has really caught up. His arm is insane. He can run with the fastest players in Major League Baseball, as well as set the record for most leadoff home runs in a single season. So anything that you need a baseball player to do, Ronald Acuna Jr. can do it with the best of them. So he is my favorite player from the Atlanta Braves. The Miami Marlins, they picked up a few players in the offseason. I wanted to go with Corey Dickerson, but just because he hasn't been part of the Marlins fan base for quite some time, I'm going to go ahead and choose Bryant Anderson. If you've ever played MLB The Show, you know that he's the one guy that always gets the diamond cards. He's the face of the franchise card in MLB The Show 20. He can play really good defense. I would say he has above average offense. I really like Bryant Anderson, so he's my pick for the Marlins. Moving on over to the New York Mets, this was kind of hard because I've always been a huge fan of Yoenis Cespedes. He has an all-around game and probably the best arm that we've seen in 20 years since Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in the outfield. But for right now, I'm going to go with Pia Alonzo. He's passionate about the game. He wants to play for USA Baseball. He's been tweeting about it nonstop. He's going to go crazy without this beautiful game. So Pete Alonso, because he's just an absolute stud at the plate. He loves the game more than pretty much anyone in baseball, in my opinion. I'm going to go with Pete Alonso for the New York Mets. If you guys have been around on this channel for even a week, you probably know that one of my favorite players of all time is Bryce Harper. And recently, last year, he actually changed teams. He went to a division rival, so that's going to ruffle a few feathers. But he went to the Philadelphia Phillies, and he had a actually pretty good season. I would say that Bryce Harper went from overrated to now underrated because he played great defense. He had an above average offensive season as well with almost a 900 OPS. I think that Bryce Harper, now that he has a son, I think that all of that stress is going to be out the way. He has to produce for his family, and I think he's going to put up some MVP numbers in 2020. I cannot wait to see what he does. From cover boy to MVP to being overrated to being underrated, Bryce Harper is just, wow, he's baseball. The Soto Shuffle. That's all I have to say to know my favorite player from the Washington Nationals. I almost went with Mad Max, Mr. Max Scherzer, just because he is so fierce and intense. Actually, now that I think about it again, these are almost like co-captains for my favorite players from the Nationals, but I am going to go with Juan Soto because he is changing the game. He has been the best teenager, the best young hitter since Ken Griffey Jr. I guess Ken Griffey Jr. can classify, but in my opinion, I feel like he's the best hitter that we've seen at this age since Ted Williams. So that's saying a lot. I hope that we can see a 20-year career from this guy. He's going to hit 500 to 600 home runs if he stays healthy. The Soto Shuffle, it's here and it's here to stay. Kris Bryant, again, I might be biased, but this is my favorite players video, so we're going to go ahead and keep it real. Kris Bryant, because he is from Las Vegas, he's won a Rookie of the Year, he's won an MVP. He's supposed to hit leadoff this year, which I think that his RBI numbers are going to stay about 70 to 80 per season if he continues to hit the leadoff. But the Cubs, they're just so bad at the #1 spot that they have to get someone to produce runs and get on base. He can play third base, he can play outfield, very subpar outfield defense, I will say. I just really like Kris Bryant. He's a super nice guy, and he's an ambassador for the game, so how can you not like him? The Cincinnati Reds, Trevor Bauer. I almost wanted to go with Eugenio Suarez just because he's so good in MLB The Show. He hits a home run pretty much every single swing. But Trevor Bauer, someone that does not like to keep quiet. I've met him in person, such a nice guy. He was on the Indians, one of my favorite players in the game. Then he gets shipped to the Reds. So I think just by proxy of him being part of the Indians, again, maybe I'm being biased, but Trevor Bauer, you guys know I'm a big fan of him. He's going to be my favorite player from the Reds. The Milwaukee Brewers. So we have Christian. So his first name ends with N. My first name is Preston, ends with an N. His last name is Yelich. My last name is Miklich. kind of rhymes, almost sounds the same. I threw righty and hit lefty when I was playing baseball, and so does Yelich. And what is my favorite number? 22. So pretty much my family's favorite player, if you're just going by favorite numbers and if your name sounds like mine, Christian Yelich is number 22. Last name is pretty much mine, and he's an MVP. I mean, if you don't like Christian Yelich, F you. No, I really don't mean that. Don't click off. I'm not trying to be mean. I was just thinking about that one scene from Talladega Nights where he says, if you don't like Big Red, then okay, I'm sorry. The Pittsburgh Pirates, they don't have the best players in the world, but I am very fond of Josh Bell, a switch-hitting power first baseman. He is not going to give you very good defense, but really, there's only 5 or 6 really good fielding first basemen in baseball, so it's not like teams are out here looking for gold glovers over there. Now, if you can be a Matt Olson, that's fine. Matt Olson might, he could make today's video. I'm trying to flip-flop in my head right now. Is it Matt Chapman or is it Matt Olson? So don't go anywhere, but Josh Bell, I feel like pretty easily he's my pick for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Next up, we have the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, this guy can actually field his position at first base. I believe that he has won a gold glove or 2. I could be completely wrong. I spend a lot of time on Baseball Reference, and I could swear that Paul Goldschmidt has won at least one when he was with the Diamondbacks, but I think that he had a down year in 2019, which is crazy to say because he still had 30 home runs. His OPS was not the highest. He did not steal as many bags as before, but expect a bounce-back season when it actually starts for 2020. Hopefully it starts soon because I'm going crazy. Diamondbacks Marte. So now we have to talk about 2 Martes, not Cattell. Yo, yes, Cattell. Okay, I threw you off there. Starling Marte, while he is a good baseball player and one of my favorites to use in MLB The Show, he is not my favorite. Cattell Marte, breakout season, gonna be a 30-20 guy for a couple years. You gotta love it. Nolan Arenado, there's really not much more you can say. He has been the face of the National League for quite some time, both him and Cody Bellinger. Hopefully the Rockies don't try and trade him away like they do sometimes. I mean, what is with teams trading away their best players for nothing? But Nolan Arenado, he is my easy pick for the Rockies. Next up, we have the Dodgers. I'm going to go with Mookie Betts. I know that might be blasphemy because I didn't pick Corey Dickerson for the same reasons. He's not really been on the team for that long, but I think Mookie Betts, he was my favorite player for the Red Sox, and I did like him more than Cody Bellinger because I think Bellinger, while he's good, his playoff numbers really scare me, so I'm going to go with Mookie Betts. He is going to be my brand new favorite player on the Dodgers. Next up, we have the Padres. Tommy Pham. Again, I'm going to be biased because Tommy Pham went to a high school called Durango, which is just down the street from me, and honestly, I think that Tommy Pham, when he is playing, he's been one of the best players and the most underrated players in baseball the last 3 or 4 seasons. The stats are there. He's been really good. I think that he's edgy. He says a lot of things that people want to hear but don't really have the confidence to say. So I really like Tommy Pham. So he's going to be my favorite player from the Padres. And then my final player from the National League, the San Francisco Giants, Buster Posey. It's Buster Posey, man. How can you not like him? Moving on over to the American League, the Baltimore Orioles. I mean, they have some talent. You could go with Adley Rutschman, who was the #1 pick. He's a switch-hitting catcher's prospect. I think that he's going to be good. But in my opinion, the face of that team, Trey Mancini, he wants to stay in Baltimore. He wants to win. Everything you need from a hitter, he's exactly that. And same with our next player, my favorite player from the Boston Red Sox, JD Martinez. He is pretty much Trey Mancini souped up. That's how good he is at hitting because Mancini is one of the best diamond cards in MLB. I know I'm bringing up MLB The Show a lot. That's just because I've been playing it so often. If you guys have not watched my MLB The Show videos, they're pretty fun. I suggest that you do. But JD Martinez, he was terrible with the Astros where he got drafted. He went to Mexico. He fixed his swing. He showed the world that if you try your best and you have motivation to be the best, you can actually become the best. Because if we're talking about some of the best pure hitters in baseball, he's up there. New York Yankees, I am going to go with Aaron Judge. Again, I know he's a part of the evil empire. You're not supposed to like anyone on the Yankees, but I think that Judge, he defies that rule. I would have to say he is one of the most liked players in baseball, even though he is on the Yankees. His jersey is always up in the top 5. I know the Yankees have a huge fan base, but you cannot knock what Judge is doing with the stick, with the glove. His defense is one of the best that I've ever seen in my lifetime, especially on right field with that arm. I think that he can do it all. Top 5 player when he's healthy. The Rays, Austin Meadows. You could go with Charlie Morton, but I think that Austin Meadows is going to carry that team for the next couple seasons. If they make the playoffs in 2020, it is going to be because Austin Meadows' defense, not that, his offense with 35 to 40 home runs, that's how lethal he is in the batter's box. And then the final player from the American League East, we have the Blue Jays. Are you going to go Vlad or are you going to go Bo Bichette? The flow took me over last year, so I am not going to pick Vladimir Guerrero Jr., although I do respect his lineage, and I think that he is going to be a good baseball player. Bo Bichette reminds me, not all the way, but a smaller version of Derek Jeter. Pretty solid defense, pretty solid speed. I think that he could be a 200 hit guy for the next 10 years, so book it. Yeah, that's a hot take from me. 2,000 hits over the next 10 seasons from Bo Bichette. That might be a little too hot, but we'll do it. The Chicago White Sox, if you have been on the channel, you know that Yoan Moncada, he is someone that I've been looking at for quite some time because his swing is so smooth. He's a switch hitter. He is starting to figure out how to hit like a professional baseball player. He was involved in the Chris Sale trade. So when you're traded for Chris Sale, you know that you have a high ceiling. He didn't perform in the first 2 seasons. Now he has figured it out. He has showed that he can be a top 10 baseball player in the American League. I hope that he breaks out even more, especially with the surrounding cast. If he does, the White Sox are going to be scary and push my favorite player, Francisco Lindor, to the edge. Will he be able to rake like he did in the past and play above average platinum defense? I think that Lindor can. You guys know he's my favorite player. I met him I took a picture with him. I didn't officially meet him, but even then, I was on cloud 9. So you guys know the Indians, Francisco Lindor, easy pick. The only Miggy in baseball. If you call Miguel Andujar Miggy, I have an issue with you. But who else could you pick on the Tigers? CJ Cron, Jonathan Scope, Nico Goodrum? No, Justin Verlander is gone, so obviously Miguel Cabrera, he's won a Triple Crown. I hope that he has a comeback season. He was raking in spring training. I really don't like the fact that we're postponing, but it has to be done. He was raking. We were set for a comeback Miggy season, so he's my favorite player from the Tigers. The Royals, Adalberto Mondesi, not really much to say. I do like Jorge Soler, but I think that Mondesi, if he can hit 15 to 20 home runs and he can easily steal 60 bags, he's going to be my pick. The Twins, Max Kepler, he's the only player in baseball from Germany. His game reminds me of Grady Sizemore, my favorite player of all time, so that's an easy pick for me. And then finally, the last division that we're going to talk about, we're going to go through pretty quick because I feel like these are pretty easy for me. Houston Astros, I don't really like very many players on the Astros, but someone that wasn't part of the 2017 team. I could be wrong, but I don't think that Michael Brantley was a part, so he's going to be my pick for the Astros. If he was, I'm really sorry about that. The Angels, Mike Trout. I mean, he's the best player in the game right now. He's the greatest player that we will ever see for at least another 50 to 60 years, unless Joe Adell, the top prospect for the Angels, if he comes up, or Luis Robert for the White Sox, those two guys could be the next big thing. The A's, do I go Chapman? Do I go Olsen? You know what? I'm going to go Matt Olson just because he gave me an interview and I think that he was an awesome guy. He was super, super nice. I did not expect that. The Seattle Mariners, again, you could go with Kyle Seager, but in my opinion, I feel like someone who is more exciting is going to be Shed Long. This guy, he came onto the scene. He was raking baseballs last year, so I think that he's going to be pretty good. Almost like a D. Gordon type player, someone that could play second base or the outfield. And then the final team in baseball, the Texas Rangers. Is it Corey Kluber? Is it Joey Gallo? I do love me some Klubot, but you guys know the fanboy in me will never cease. Joey Gallo is probably my favorite player in the entire game. Up there with Bryce Harper, up there with Francisco Lindor. Just so many good players in baseball, but that is going to do it for today's video. I wanted to have as much fun as possible. I don't care about views for the next 8 weeks. I just want to have fun. I want to talk about baseball, and this, honestly, I had a lot of fun, so thank you guys for watching. Please let me know your 5 favorite baseball players in the comment section down below, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow if we get 2,000 likes. I know that you guys can do it for yet another baseball video. Peace out.